Choosing an e-commerce platform sucks. There's so much information to absorb, and you don't even know what questions to ask to find the right information. People who are trying to sell you something tell you the features you need exist, only to find out later that it's made out of popsicle sticks and duct tape and won't work for you. Combine that with the risk of making the wrong decision, and who needs that pressure? I'm trying to make your life just a little bit easier. So in this video, I'm going to give you 5 reasons to choose Shopify over Magento. Pull yourself up a chair and let's talk about it. I talk to a lot of merchants that have no idea the differences in e-commerce platforms, much less which one's best for them. This video series is designed for them, and it's not a feature comparison. We'll give you 5 high-level things that, if they apply to your business, can make your decision just a little bit easier. With that in mind, all of these really apply to Shopify, Shopify Plus, Magento Open Source, or Magento Commerce. If anything doesn't apply to any particular version of those platforms, I'll be sure to mention it. This particular video outlines 5 reasons Shopify might be better for you than Magento, but this is just one in a series of platform comparisons. I've already given you 5 reasons to choose Magento, and I'll link you to that video at the end of this one. No one is unbiased, definitely not myself. I have my favorite platforms. We're Magento partners, don't do so much with Shopify. However, I'm not going to steer you wrong either. I want you to end up on the platform that is best for your business. These are in no particular order, so let's just get into it. Reason number 1 to choose Shopify over Magento is less reliance on a developer or service provider. Being a developer that owns an agency that makes money on development, this one's painful. I'm not recommending that you don't have developers involved in your project and every decision made that affects the functionality of your e-commerce site. Quite the contrary. And that's not to get you to spend money with folks like me. You really need technical leadership that understands and can advise you on the consequences of the decisions you're making and help diagnose issues that arise. But if you don't have technical resources or the budget to keep them regularly engaged in your project, then this is a big factor in your platform decision. I wanted to make this kind of a standalone point by itself because so many of the merchants I talk to, especially small merchants, fall into this category. Now, the next couple of topics we're going to cover are the reasons why you have less reliance upon developers. And the next reason to choose Shopify over Magento is simplicity of adding new functionality. Shopify has limitations around how you can customize and interact with the platform. That could be a negative depending on your needs, and we discuss that a bit more in the video where we list reasons you should choose Magento. But those limitations come with a lot of benefits. Because you can't really add back-end code to Shopify, all of the integrations and new functionality are forced to use the available APIs. This forced architecture for integrations allows non-technical users to install them simply. In many cases, a couple of buttons and a few form fields, and your functionality is all set up and ready to go. On Magento, you'd have to bring in your developer, have him install and test it locally, commit it to version control, push it to a staging site for more testing, then it can be put into a production release and pushed to your live site and configured. Now, I know Magento fans out there will argue that you don't have to do it this way, but it's recommended best practices, so I'll stand by the statement. And the next reason to choose Shopify over Magento is less technical debt. Now, technical debt is one of those boring developer speak terms that a lot of merchants don't even really know what it means. So for those that may not be aware of the term, technical debt is basically the consequences of the technical decisions you have made with your project. How complex is it to continue to build new functionality upon? How much ongoing grooming and costs are associated with it? Basically, how expensive is this going to be to own long term? Technical debt has a profound impact on the ongoing costs associated with your site. For instance, with all versions of Magento being built on an open source code base, you'll have patches and updates that come out regularly that are extremely important for you to apply to keep your site secure. Every time you want to add new functionality or update the site, there's a stronger possibility that the change will conflict with your existing customizations and require more extensive work. Because of the limitations they've placed around the platform, you really don't have anywhere near the technical debt with Shopify. That lessens the ongoing financial consequences of your poor decisions. And the next reason to choose Shopify over Magento is simplicity of management for users. Simplicity. That's a term I'll use several times in this video. It's really what Shopify was designed to be. Magento was created to have all of this power and flexibility, but Shopify was created for simplicity, to make it easy for merchants to get to selling without having to have access to or know anything about the underlying technology. The difference is evident in the admin console. Magento can be quite intimidating for the uninitiated. Unfortunately, complexity is a key ingredient of flexibility. With Shopify, it's easier to get up and productive with less training. If you're dependent upon inexperienced labor, whether it's seasonal help or just youthful employees, then you're more likely to have turnover and to constantly need to train those employees. In this case, less training, again, lowers your costs and leads new employees to being productive sooner, and that could be a big boost to your business. And the next reason to choose Shopify over Magento is price. Now, we're not even talking about the price of the software. Depending on the size of your business and what version of each platform you're considering, Shopify, Shopify Plus, Magento Open Source, or Magento Commerce, the direct software costs can be surprisingly quite similar, especially if that calculation includes payment processor fees. However, the additional dependency on development and ongoing maintenance is going to make Magento have a higher total cost of ownership in most cases. Budget is a concern for everyone, no matter the size of your business. A lot of small merchants, however, fail to understand that the cost of building a site is just the beginning, and it's a living and breathing thing that needs constant feeding and grooming. Those ongoing costs are going to be a more important factor in deciding between e-commerce platforms for those merchants. There are clear benefits and detriments of each platform when considering Magento and Shopify. Magento has all of this power and flexibility to allow you to implement whatever your vision may be. All of that comes at a cost and a complexity. As promised, I'm going to pop up a video on the screen outlining the counter-argument. 5 reasons to choose Magento over Shopify, along with another video that may be of interest to you if you're into e-commerce. If you're considering these two platforms, then give that video a watch and hopefully it'll help clarify the other side of the argument made in this video. If you've watched both and still aren't sure which is the right fit for you and are having trouble narrowing it down and just want to talk about it, head over to jamerson.com, jamersan.com. Shoot me a message and we can schedule some time to discuss. Otherwise, let me know your thoughts in the comments of this video. It's also always helpful if you'll hit that thumbs up button. If you're interested in staying up to date on the latest in enterprise e-commerce or taking your e-commerce skills to the next level, then consider hitting that subscribe button and tapping that notification bell so you'll be notified each and every time we put out new videos. I appreciate you watching and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.